Hi. Hello, guys. This is Vipers XBL Vipers, Alex the Viper Meyer. I don't know what I'm going to do, my YouTube name and all that. And this is the Gamer Takes podcast, episode 54. Today, we're going to be kind of talking about Apex Legends and kind of how its rise to popularity has been over the last couple months, especially this year after a few years of just like not being that popular as you kind of expect. And today we're going to have a special guest who does play a lot of Apex himself, and he's going to introduce himself.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is iReek of Awesome. You probably know me from TikTok or somewhere, iReekofAwesomeTV. And he definitely is correct. Not even a lot of play Apex. It's literally all I play. I appreciate you having me on, man. It's good to be here.
It's good to kind of be here today, kind of get you talk about the topics. So first question we got, we're going to kind of go off the rip. What got you into the BR genre, and then we'll spin that off to what got you into Apex Legends, unless Apex Legends was your first BR.
So, interesting thing. A couple summers ago, I guess the year the game came out, I my brothers lived with me for the summer, and that's all they used to play. And I used to watch it. I'm just like, what is this? This is terrible. I came from Halo, so that's all I really used to play. So I eventually tried it because obviously you're just sitting there. Well, let me see if I can do this. And I'll be honest, I absolutely hated the game when I first tried it. I didn't understand it. There was too much going on, like with movement and then abilities, and you know, uh, it was just a lot going on. I hated it, so I didn't play it. I started season 2, and I didn't come back till season 4. It was the worst. But Apex is my first BR because Halo doesn't have one, right?
No, well, I don't know if they're ever going to come out with one, especially with how infinite it is. You never got into Fortnite because that was Fortnite PUBG because that released like right before even Blackout from Call of Duty, or you just
So I went like a solid decade without playing video games.
okay, makes
Like
sense.
I used to play, like I would play the campaign on Halo, beat it, and never touch it again. So no, I played Fortnite after. I played COD after. PUBG just looks awful. Like just not the game itself, but the actual visuals of the game. It looks absolutely terrible. So I've never played it.
Okay. PUBG is fun to watch, like kind of fun to watch, but it's like playing it looks kind of it's confusing like with the kind of the control mechanics and all that as well. You know, you took that decade off, which makes sense, it's kind of interesting. It's people take a decade off from gaming and then go back, and now you kind of wonder, okay, if I got all these followers on TikTok, streamers popping up, what happens if I did this 5 years earlier? It's always a question mark, but you found
I
success already.
I thoroughly believe because like where Tim the Tap Man and all these other guys are now, they were probably where I was 5 years ago. And streaming it wasn't it wasn't mainstream 5 years ago. So I, like a lot of people, didn't really pick it up until the pandemic. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's a very good what if for sure.
And another question is, kind of regarding that. I'll kind of explain my point of view how I got into BR and Apex Legends. So I'll just go off that. What got you back into Apex? Because you mentioned you took a 2-season break, basically.
So watching them play just kind of got me more into it, and I got really, really tired of like deathmatch on Halo.
Hmm.
And then I was just kind of fascinated. The thing I like most about Halo is the fact that it's the hardest BR, or not, sorry, Apex. It's the hardest BR. There's so many different things you have to be good at and the highest skill ceiling. So that's pretty much why like I got into it, and then I just have kept with it because I feel like I took a long time off where other people were playing other BRs that help you be good at Apex. So like I'm just trying to catch up to everybody else, just trying to be better, I guess.
Ah, makes sense. Just trying. It's like always that competitive mindset that you can always improve,
100%.
and all that. So I'll kind of explain my point of view. So how I got into BR was my friend said I never even heard of BR before, which was the funny part. Before I download Fortnite because friend, and my friend says, "Oh, this game called Fortnite, you can try it out." Okay, I downloaded it. First game of Fortnite was just super broken. I think my screen was pitch black, and I said, "Okay, I'll wait till maybe Thursday or Friday when I still got time." And
Right.
that was like the first BR. I was like always trying to get a win. The building, it was different at the time because we never seen many BR games. Heard of I never heard of PUBG or H1Z1 before Fortnite, and those games were before that. So I got into that a little bit, and then came into Blackout. So that was Call of Duties. That was Black Ops 4 basically, and then
Right.
I played a little bit of PUBG just to kind of mix it in. I said it already. It's fun to watch. It's interesting to watch when it's like a competitive mindset because I think in 2019 I watched a lot of PUBG esports, and it was like, looks pretty cool, especially when you get in those final circles. It's really exciting commentary, but playing it is just sucks because you talk about the visuals. It's just like blurry and all
It
that.
looks unfinished.
Eh,
It looks unfinished.
Yeah, and so got into that, then Warzone. So that was the perfect time. I would say I'm gonna say this a lot. I'm probably gonna say this like multiple episodes. If whenever you get to this topic, Warzone released at the perfect time. You talking about released the day, released the week when everything was closing, and I don't think they even had attentions for that. That was the best timing of a release. That was
Yeah.
the horrific timing of a release. So played Warzone, and that was probably the only BR I played at the time. I think I did experience play like a couple games with other BRs, but I don't remember. Realm Royale, Cuisine Royale, those are like joke ones. So got into that. So just played Warzone. S- Just on and off, try to go to multiplayer between Black Ops Cold War and then Warzone whenever it was Black Ops Cold War Cycle and then Caldera release. So I said, okay, it's perfect timing. I'm gonna be out of first semester of college. We're gonna play this for a while. That was a joke. I just should have just kept them advanced. Vanguard is not a great game, and when they put Caldera in, it still had the same issues. The weapons weren't great overall. They were super high recoil. Nothing was really hitting with power unless you knew what was hitting with power. The map wasn't. I was still having packet loss, all that, and then I said, no, I don't want to play Caldera. Like I know it's BR. I kind of want to play BR. And then it came to Apex Legends. I have that in February. So 7 months ago, I played my first. Well, I did play one game of Apex Legends. This was like an asterisk right here. I think I played during vacation. I think some were on vacation with like a family and all that, and they brought their console, and I saw Apex Legends. I played one game. It was super laggy, so I wouldn't really count it, but like I knew nothing about Apex Legends. Well, I knew the game title, but I knew nothing about the gameplay. I
Right.
never watched much gameplay, and I said, okay, my friends were playing it at that time, so figure it out. Friends kind of fluency to play games, and that's kind of how I got addicted to it. You know, is always you got to grind something. Unlock the legends if you don't use coins, and I'm trying to remember. It's always good to kind of play the game. It's competitive.
Yeah.
It's a fast moving game. I'm always like a fast player, so it's not like Fortnite where it's just kind of build battles. PUBG, it's a little bit too slow. Warzone, you can play aggressive, but I didn't like how they were at the time, so it was a perfect match, and I think it's I think the best BR all time. Although Fortnite fans are going to be really upset about that.
It's not even. Oh, you're right about that. It's not even close because Fortnite realizes that the build and stuff is kind of niche, which is why their rise back in popularity also coincides with no building. Um, like it's Apex. I haven't even like I've played a couple War Zones. I played a couple games of Fortnite. I played like remember Hyperscape, 2 games of that.
Yeah.
Um, it's not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah, I thought it would be. All right, so the next question I got is how has the overall feeling Apex Legends. Wait, I'm trying to read this question. I write the notes, so I write. If you guys might notice from like the other episodes, I usually write down the questions and then answer them, but sometimes in not perfect English. How has the overall feeling Apex Legends been since the game has released, or since you have started playing overall?
Uh,
You probably already kind of answered this already, but if you can.
so for me, like what's the most interesting part of Apex is movement, right? And it's just getting harder and harder and harder just to hit shots because you got tap strafing, you got these ridiculous strafes, you got like it's just the game is a lot more. It's not fast paced. It's just faster than what it was with more legends. Because when the game first came out, there was what like 5 legends or something like that.
Six, I think
Yeah.
six, I believe, yeah.
Okay, so 6. Now we're at 21 or 22. So now every match you have to kind of compensate for what you're going against. It's not the same. So you got like, Wraith or Vantage just, jumping around, or there's a laser dipping across the entire map, Pathy jumping around. It's just there's a lot going on with Apex at any given moment. So I would say it's a lot more intense for sure than when I started. It's a hard BR. It's really hard.
How hard is it to get a win in like as you compare it to now? We'll go with I don't know if I want to go with. Do you usually play pubs a lot or you play ranked at this
The
point?
last 2 seasons, I've been playing a lot of ranked. Um, but overall more pubs because I
Uh,
yeah.
how hard is it to get a pub like kind of how easy was it to get a pubs win in season 2, season 4, early days as compared to kind of now,
Oh, it
especially with
was
the experience you got?
it was impossible because I was playing it like Halo.
Mm.
Like I was just running around double even 8 like for real. No, not using cover. If I saw somebody, I was going to shoot at them. If I saw somebody, I was running directly to them. I just didn't understand how to play the game. Like a literal noob. Literally. It's because Halo, like deathmatch, is so different than what you do in Apex. You know what I mean? You automatically get your shield regenerated. You automatic. There's just a lot. Like a shotgun, you're pretty much two pumping people. It was impossible for me. I was really, 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 really bad when I first started that game.
I think it was kind of the same thing for me. I think although it's a 7 month difference since I played in years, like basically 2.5, 3 years. It was just trying to learn the game and all of that, trying to understand the legends. Um, it took me a while to kind of understand some stuff, but I think it was just the game wasn't too it's still difficult to get a win. It's really chaotic. You're gonna have to strategize yourself, but I think I had pretty good gun skill to where I think I can compensate for any
Yeah,
of the kind of the legends learning and all that. And that's kind of stuck throughout. I always got better at it. I'm not just playing my gunfights more. I'm learning the legends. Finally learning how to shield swap with a controller. Trying to use movement. I think it did help because I played a lot of faster games. You talk about kind of Vanguard, Black Ops, Cold War. Did play a little bit of Halo here and there. Um, Rainbow Six, not really. It's kind of a little bit slower, but it's a lot of the same stuff. Shoot and aim, and if you got other stuff that can help you with winning those gunfights. So It's always a thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, like for me, like I've actually paid for coaching in this game with a couple of with a YouTuber by the name of Mango and Trees. He does a lot of Apex Tips videos, and then a streamer called by the name of Boom Razzle. I think that my main thing is like I believe that everyone is good that's good at this game has a lot of overall experience, with whether it be gun skill, BRs, whatever that I just don't have. You know what I mean? So it makes it easier. It's like honestly, it's still hard to get a win now because it's not hard, but like the way that the pace of the game, like on World's Edge, where everyone drops in one place and you kind of got to figure that out. Or on the other side, you can land with nobody and it's not really fun. You know what I mean? Like then you're just doing loot simulator.
Mm.
So, that's one thing that's definitely changed. There's every map has like 27 people drop, and then whoever survives that honestly probably wins the game, right? Like now they're
Most
running
of the
around.
time.
Yeah, now you're running around with a white shield because you landed geyser, and then the team with three reds comes up on you. They've got everything, and they're gonna cap you every time. So that's definitely one thing that's changed as well.
Hold up, I have won a game recently where I had blue shield until the final circle, and we won. I was at one. I think I have the clip down, but like the only cover he had was a rock. That was the only cover. We exposed ourselves with that. They had red shields, they had a sniper, they had high grounds. They just made idiotic plays. And it's just matters on how I think the big thing is everybody has gotten smarter. It is gonna
100%.
Yeah, so it's different than you go to season one where everybody's learned the game, they learn the maps. They think they're learning how to play each little granny spot on World's Edge. How do we go behind this rock? Do we go right behind this cover? Do we take the high ground now, or do we just wait just to see where circle goes? There's a lot of strategical thinking that wasn't there in season one, and now it's translated. You gotta. It doesn't like people with blue shields can win against red. It's possible,
No, it definitely is.
but do you
That's
want to be in that situation? No, because
Yeah,
you're gonna.
100%. That actually happened to me yesterday in a plat lobby. I don't even know what that area is called, but we got stuck by one of those areas where a waterfall is, and I had a white shield until maybe two squads left. I had to stop poking because I had no meds. We just pinned down in one house for an entire time. I had 100, I had 148 damage, one kill, and a dub. I didn't have syringes, I didn't have cells, I didn't have anything. So it is possible, but the reason we won is because the team gave up their high ground and final zone to push us for whatever reason, and they got wrecked.
Mm, it's always like that. So, all right. So the next question I got. Sorry if the hands blocking the cam. What made Apex Legends grow dramatically? Kinda in viewership and player count, and this year, kind of, I don't know what factors could play into that, but like everybody's noticed that. Everybody's starting to play Apex now. The numbers are growing. It took too many years. What kind of caused it this year, do you believe?
Um, it's actually. Wait a minute, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's a couple of things. Warzone is dying. Fortnite kind of fell off in popularity. Also, a lot of big streamers, Nick Merckx, Tim Tatman, just for example, they also started playing Apex. I don't like. I have maybe like a couple hours on COD, but like from my understanding, it's in pretty bad shape right now, from what I've been reading and stuff like that. Um, so the fact that Apex is already kind of a perfect game, you know what I mean? Minus like things that, happen in video games, audio, yada, yada, yada. Um, it's, it made it easier for other players to come over. and play it. You know what I mean? Like when Tim the Tatman and Nick Merckx came over, I think they started making their push in like season 10 or whatever when they tried to hit Pred. Like that's a couple million viewers. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of people that you now have eyes on the game that weren't watching it before because they're probably just watching whatever they play. They weren't playing that. So that's a lot of people that probably were like, "Hey, this game is kind of cool. It's completely different from any BR." You know what I mean? Every BR is kind of like with Fortnite, its signature is building, right? With COD, I don't even know. I don't even know
It's
what they're.
usually just server has, it's just run and gun. It's just server.
Yeah, like
It's a 1v1, so no, you got other advantages like high ground, positioning, and all that. So
Apex, you have to be good at so many things. Like to be coherent at the game, like to be a top level player, you have to master movement. Like you were saying, playing cover plus gun skill, which is pretty much all COD is gun skill and, like you said, high ground. So I think those things have made a lot of people come over and start watching and or playing, especially recently.
I think the big thing, I you talk about it, it's just you mentioned it, just Fortnite and Warzone just not having the success as it respect, especially Warzone with Caldera releasing in late 2021. I was like, okay, will this bring it back up? It did not. People switch games. The money's, you can find more success in Apex, even with a lot of viewers. Um, when they had the ALGS championships, that had I think almost 200K viewers in the finals,
Yeah,
and it probably brought a lot of new fans into the game, like new people. Um, and it's just people were looking for a new BR at the time. I know it's 3 years old. Um, People don't want to play Fortnite with just excessive building, just the sweats building all the time. And Warzone, just Caldera and PUBG is nowhere near to be found. That's what you get. You get a BR that's gonna have potential. That took too long to have potential because like me, I didn't play the game for 3 years because I didn't want to get into another BR. That was the mindset. I didn't want to play another BR. It's a stupid reason,
yeah, yeah.
but that's what kind of caused it. I think you do have those big streamers, Nick Merckx. You still got Imperial Howl. You got new guys kind of
Jimmy,
coming up on the
yeah,
mix.
Watson, yeah.
Yeah, so they're bringing the new viewership. They want to be inspired to play like them. That's probably a good starter kit. To hear Apex Legends BR, let's go watch a pro player. Let's see how they play. And that's something that's always a big thing. Is like it's always good to kind of visualize, kind of watch a top tier player, and maybe this is fun. There's abilities, there's ultimates. Oh, it's very fast paced. I like fast paced. I ain't a slow person. There's a lot of things that play a part of it, and I think it's still going to grow. I think 2023 it's going to be bigger. It's just going to be based on how. Um, I think the big thing that's going to play a part is how Warzone 2 comes out. I think that's going to be, or any new BR comes out during that time. Warzone 2, I think will probably come out in November or December. So we'll see how that plays a part of the numbers. If that turns out to be like how Warzone initially launched, to where a lot of people were playing, I think that will play an effect on Apex Legends viewership, but I would not think that much because the ones currently playing Warzone are going to be dedicated to Warzone. The ones playing Apex Legends, you're probably not going to see them switch either. So that's the big thing.
You know who might save Warzone? I don't know if you know who this chick is. Her
Oh,
name's Nadia.
okay, yeah. Let's not get that far topic. Well, yeah, that's not saving Warzone.
She said the reason I said that is because literally the only thing I hear about Warzone is related to her. It's hilarious.
I
Like
know.
she's eating so hard because people are weird.
Well, it's a long story for
It
that. I don't.
definitely it definitely is.
All right, so the next question is, how has Apex Legends played a part of your life slash streaming career and all that? So, kind of since you started playing Apex, how has it helped you overall and like since from day one to now?
Apex is the only game that I've streamed, so like it's definitely been a vehicle in whatever, however you want to measure the success I have had. You know what I mean? I've got what, like 51,000 followers on TikTok. 3K on Twitch, Twitter. I'm still new, but it's been everything. You know what I mean? And what I love about it is the fact that I have a lot of fun playing Apex. I'm not even good. Like I hit Diamond last season, but if you ask most people, that doesn't mean anything, even though only 8% of people that play rank hit Diamond or above. But like people can tell that I really have fun and I really enjoy, like I mentioned earlier, the best part of Apex to me is learning how to do stuff. You know what I mean? Like I play on console, so like I do fake tap strays, which has somehow gathered me millions of likes on on on
Yeah, that's
TikTok. Yeah, like but I have so much fun. So like to answer your question, like it's everything. You know what I mean? Like to the point where I don't even want to stream another game. Like Apex is just so different from everything, which makes it not feel stale to me, which means I can keep streaming it. I think just to kind of go back a little bit, the only game that maybe had a change, like the current games aren't going to ever be better than Apex because they're rooted in what they have right now. Hyperscape failed massively, but they also swung big, so they had a chance. So like Apex will always be popular, like be super super popular. You know what I mean? Like it's just where we're at. But like I said, just learning, just the movement, the characters. Half of the characters I don't even play, but it's meant a lot for my content creator career.
ah, that's a big take. There's no game that's gonna ever compete with Ape. That's no game that's ever gonna be more popular than Apex.
No, no,
That's
no. The
oh
game,
sorry.
the
Oh
game, the games that maybe a game that hasn't came out yet will Fortnite, um,
oh Hunters.
Warzone. Yeah, they because you would have to change them so dramatically from what they are, because that's what makes Apex so good. It's just so many different things. They release new legends. Like at this point, Fortnite is just skins. It's literally all it is. Like, hey, do you want to be LeBron James and shoot people? That's what Fortnite is. It's just a license to print money for skins and like merchandise and stuff. Call of Duty is just will always be like what you said. I think you said run and gun. It will always be that because it's kind of rooted in reality. You know what I mean? So the game that will be better than Apex or will take the spot hasn't came out yet.
I just curious about that one because it's like oh okay. So the next question I got is, does the competitive landscape of ranked make the game fun to enjoy, or like the competitiveness kind of drive people? Sometimes maybe. I kind of actually let's still continue the question. Does competitive landscape of ranked make the game to enjoy while providing a great return? I don't know what the last portion of the sentence I meant, but we'll kind of go from there.
I got what you meant. Um, yes and no. So for me, for the average player, it probably doesn't make the game very fun to play. You mentioned earlier, like they see these big streamers, Taxi, Hal, Timmy, whoever, and you want to emulate those people, right? That is an absolute problem with this game because the reality is, like me and you could jump on duels right now, and I'll wear a sign that says Imperial Hal. You wear a sign that says it's Timmy, and we try to be them. The reality is, compared to them, we suck. But like the what they do when they try to emulate those people is it kind of creates toxicity. It creates bad teammates. bad decision making, ego pushes. So it kind of ruins the game. Like if you just hop in solo queuing, it can be very unenjoyable. Oh, there's that bald wraith running into that trying to 1v9 people because they just saw a TikTok clip, and it's kind of unhealthy, and it's bad for whoever the teammates are. But for me, who's someone who, just kind of lets it roll off and moves on to the next game, the competitive side of it is fun because I don't know about you, but like anything I want to do, like I want to try my best.
Yep.
I'm not a less type of let's see what happens. I'm trying to win. Like this season I'm pushing for masters. And to me, that's hard because I play, even though I'm Xbox, I play in primarily PC lobbies. So I have disadvantages, looting, just general movement that I can't do. But, for me, it's amazing. But I think for the average player, it can be a bad thing because I think it creates some toxicity in the game.
Okay, so that makes a little more sense on that point. Um, I think yeah, it's like a double-edged sword. People, this is a game that has a great benefit if you do, you get something to grind for. It's the same thing as any kind of game
Hmm.
that has like an elo-based system. You can look at Rainbow Six. You want to get to champion, or maybe you want to set limit. Maybe like I've always said, okay, the goal is to get to plat. My friends are always stuck in silver and gold. I usually don't want to play solo plat lobbies, but said okay, let's get the plat free, and then we'll try to get a plat free on a different account, or like it was the same thing. And like I didn't play much ranked last season because my friends weren't playing, but like I think 2 seasons ago, I forgot what legend released that time. Oh, Mad Maggie.
Hmm.
They like that was I think it was like the first ever season I played ranked. Then I got to plat, and I was like, wow, that's pretty good. Um, maybe we'll try. We're trying to get back. I'm trying to get back in the rank. I'm currently like gold 4 right now. Looks like the lobbies have been pretty easy. So I always try to play with friends. I always, as much as I don't want to, I should play with randoms because it's easier to get to them. But said okay, let's do this. I'm trying to get better aim and all that. It's always something that you can always improve on, and that's what makes the game competitive. You always want to win. You always want to do better. You always want to aim better. You always want to do some situations better, and that's
100%.
it's everybody's competitive mindset is you want to be better than the next person above you. Um, but for no reason, I honestly do not know. I think it's just going to be hard for pop players. I would not say ranked because that's where all the sweat, that's where the competitive is. But you do want to be the best player in competitive, but it's hard for like people learn the game who want to be the best because it takes a while and it seems there's a lack of confidence. If they get crapped on every time, although they just started the game 2 days ago, they just think they're not good. Look at there's a friend I know who does that. Trying to get him into Apex and then he just like he doesn't feel like he's good enough and all of that. And it's like, well, you got to learn the game, and that's everybody's got to learn the game. If you don't learn the game, then you're not gonna have that urge to be competitive. It's like learning a sport. You want to learn the sport. If you enjoy the sport, then you want to be the best in the sport. That's the same thing for everybody.
Right.
You gotta enjoy something before you start being competitive, and it might be hard to incorporate that right now, especially with how ranked has changed, like kind of how the overall ranked system has changed in the last month or so, especially with the release of Vantage and then with Newcastle
Of
as
course.
well.
Yeah.
So, I think that's where we gotta go with it. It does provide, I think, great return, especially, excuse me, if you're in the higher ranks. I think especially getting plus something in Pred, you're trying to go for number one. Those Pred players are trying to go for maybe a certain goal, top 250, top 100. Um, and you always want those big numbers. So whenever you see those big numbers, that means you want to continue doing great, and it gives you some motivation to play the game. So I think it's just matters on, I wouldn't say talent, But I think it's just you gotta have the competitive mindset in you. If you don't want to, you always want to do your best. You already mentioned it. If you don't do that, then you're screwed.
Agree wholeheartedly.
So next question is this is gonna you do specialize in playing pubs and ranked, but why is there a big divide between the casual and ranked communities?
So I took this question as casual and pro. So
Yep.
I wasn't. I was that. That's how I took it. I think the biggest difference is I don't think the casual players understand what pros are playing for, and I don't think pros care at all what the casual player is doing. You know what I mean? I think during ALGS, Nicewig was commentating. He said something. He was like, everybody needs to shut the f up. These guys are playing for $2 million, and you're playing for 45 RP.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I think the biggest divide is the lack of understanding of either side. You know what I mean? I don't think that the casual players understand, because even if you're not playing for money, a lot of streamers are playing for viewership, right? Um, they're playing. They don't have jobs. They're just literally, for example, living off Twitch, so they're playing for viewership. So the casual player that watches the pro player, they don't want to see they don't want to see him die. They want to see him 360 no scope wall jump 6 people with 20 health. That's what they're here for. You know what I mean? And I think the pros, they just, because they're in such a another stratosphere of what's going on, I generally just don't think that they give they don't care about what you and I are doing. So when you have two people that don't understand each other, there's going to be arguments like you see on Twitter. I think a good one was the gold knockdown.
Yep,
Um,
that's a big one.
the gold knockdown. Like, pros were crying, and it's funny because, like, I don't know about you, I don't know how many times you've tried to have had a gold knockdown and successfully gotten one off. It's probably 3 out of 100 tries. It wasn't a problem. You know what I mean? It just wasn't, because it's loud, it's slow. It was just it wasn't a problem. So for pros to complain about something that doesn't work doesn't make sense. For casuals to complain about something that is being removed that didn't work is also insane as well. Like, you have a gold knockdown, like, no one expects to get it off when you have it. Half the time you don't even try. You're just like, I'm gonna let this dude just come kill me. Every once in a while you'll climb 50 meters, you'll crawl 50 meters behind a truck and get it off just to get shot again as soon as you get up, because you didn't have a gold bag. Well, at the time, didn't have a gold bag. So it's really interesting. But I think, to answer your question again, it's mostly lack of understanding and or caring about the others' issues.
I think the reason there is I think casual and pro communities have differences. I think you talk about the gold knockdown is there's different play styles. Casual, if you're gonna have a gold knockdown, you get knocked, you're just gonna get pushed. But in pros, it's a little bit different because if you get a knock on someone, it doesn't mean you got to push. You might
100%.
they might have a chance to get that gold knockdown off. Matters of positioning and all that. That's where the big difference is. It's just basically a second chance. And that has been a big complaint in other games. I think we can talk about MW2. This is really old. They had a perk. They had a death perk called Last Stand, and you got killed. You basically got shot enough. You get knocked down to the ground. You have a pistol. You can still use the pistol to kill. People complained about that. Um, Another one is Rainbow Six. They had a couple operators. Sophia was one of the big ones. Where she got knocked, you can hold X. It took like maybe 5 to 6 seconds, a little bit faster than what you got for your gold knockdown shield. Got back up, had 5 health, and she was, it's like, come, like people complained about that, and they have with many other operators as well in that game. Just people don't want to give the second chance ability and still kind of be in a gunfight that quick. Um, I think another big one is I think the Kraber. That was another kind of talked about story is like how do you nerf the Kraber? You know, people complain, "Oh, Kraber should be banned in ALGS." Well, it's a sniper. You got to aim with it. Um, you know, it's not easy to use. You do see people miss some shots with snipers, although it's a little bit different. Versus PC versus the pro community. Sorry, PC versus. Why am I saying PC? MNK versus controller.
Yeah.
So you know, I think it's just because of damage. So they nerfed that. They always listen to pros. So give you a heads up on that one. By the way, you know, you talk about the same thing. The gold knockdown. They listen to the pros. There's probably been a couple legends that have been nerfed heavily because of the pros. You can look at Valkyrie's still going to be the big one. Talking
But hold on. Here's I think so number one, I think people in general, and I started doing this on my TikToks. I don't even like relegate it to what you said, like pros versus casuals. Just crybabies.
mm,
Like I did a post the other day about the Kraber, and I don't know, it did like 40,000. And the general thought process, oh, it's a care package weapon. It's supposed to be one shot. Well, no, it isn't. It's supposed to be stronger than floor loot, which it is, right? Like the Kraber in most people's hands is a bad gun. So the nerf doesn't matter because you ain't hitting your shots anyways. It's so hard. Like it's a terrible scope. It has horrible bullet drop. Like most people ain't hitting their Kraber shots. So whether it does 250 to the head or seven, you hit a bush. It doesn't it doesn't matter. Um, but I do agree with you. It does feel like the pros, get their way, but they also drive the community. And
yeah,
that
you're
goes
right.
back to what we said. The viewership on Apex is primarily like I'm willing to bet, I don't know this for sure. Like if Apex has, I don't know, 70,000 viewers right now, 50,000 of them are probably like within 10 people, right? And then the rest is just spread down in the little buckets. So the, like the Valk nerf, it's not even that bad of a nerf. It's just she's just not broken anymore. You know what I mean? She's still, especially with the ring changes, the lack of jump towers. They removed five. She's still really, really, really strong. She's just not broken. And it's always interesting because it's just like the pros find ways to exploit that stuff. Like if you ever watch a game, like they'll land on a mountain that's way above people that's out of bounds. They know exactly how long they can stay there, to gain a couple seconds, maybe a team drop in the final circle. Like our problems, meaning you and I, the casual player, and the pros problems, they're just two completely different things.
Okay. It's like there's probably gonna be a couple more things that can be playing effect by the pros in the next couple months, especially with one legend. But we'll kind of go off that point later. You know, it's always the thing. It's like your pros are gonna gain most viewership. You never, you know, you look at Nick Merckx, Imperial How, Host, and maybe other pros. They gather most of the viewership, and they probably have the most say because they provide the most in return to Twitch, the game, they bring in new people to the game. That's always you gotta consider that in mind,
Yeah.
as well. All right, so next question is, how do you feel about the current Legend meta, which is currently, I think, in the top three are Seer, Valk, and Horizon. We're gonna kind of
In
talk.
rank, right? And competitive.
Yeah, we'll go with like competitive or like and like we talked about Gibby was like one of the popular ones. Gibby, and then we had Ash Raid. So I'm kind of comparing to like last couple of months. How do you feel about Seer? That's going to be the big point here.
I'm not mad at people abusing Seer because you have to. He is not like Bloodhound. He is not point and scan or whatever. You kind of have to know what, like with the little heartbeat thing. You kind of have to know what you're doing. So he does take some skill to use. What I do find interesting about Seer is Seer came out. He had the flashbang, 10 damage, plus you were scanned, right? I think they nerfed him in less than 2 weeks because everybody was like, "This is really, really aggressive," right? And then the only thing that's ever happened to Seer is he's gotten a nerf. That's it. He was untouched up until what, like no one played him until like 4 months ago,
Yep,
right?
because of one person.
Yeah. And then they found out it's like, oh wow, he's really good. Like like people complain about Valk. I would argue, especially in the competitive scene where the last circle looks something like there's 5 houses, there's 5 teams, one in each team, right? And you just got a seer that's just literally, okay, there's 2 people over there that are shields. There's 2 people over there. Forget F that guy. He's a solo. Let's go kill him. He's just sitting there ratting in the corner.
Hmm.
That is a much bigger problem than than the way how far Valk can fly. Because the reality is, and again, this goes back to pubs versus pros. In ALGS, the last 2 rounds are people just sitting in the same spot, just holding the spot, right? You know what I mean? So the wall hack meta is it's very strong. That's kind of where we're at right now, right? Even with Vantage, to an extent, point somewhere. Oh, there's let's push that team. They've got two whites and a blue for some reason in round 4. We have red. Let's go kill them. You know what I mean? Enter with 50 damage on the sniper and go kill those kids. So I mean, I don't have a problem with the current meta. I think that certain legends are supposed to be strong and certain legends are supposed to suck. If everybody was strong, this game wouldn't be nearly as good as it is. You get a lot of complaints about people who say like, "Oh, it's just stale because it's the same 3 people." We'll play somebody else then. Play Mirage and see what happens.
Yeah, it's not gonna go.
Exactly. Like we're playing. You're playing for money, or you're playing, for whatever, pride. Like use whatever you have. The Spitfire, yeah, it's a ground loot weapon. Every person can pick one up. If you keep dying to it, you should probably pick one up and slap it 3 times on that, and then just spray forever. That's just me. I don't understand the crying about metas and stuff like that when everyone has the same opportunity that everyone else has.
Yeah, I think it's a game that you can master any legend overall, but you talk about Seer, I think that's gonna be one that's gonna have a lot of question marks because I think you can talk about, yeah, positioning, so it's another Bloodhound, but it can stop heals. It can stop you heal for about 10
Forgot
seconds.
about
I
that.
think
Yeah,
that's where another big point you have in that legend. I was like, okay, it will stop. It will stop the healing. You can slow
stop
down
the
someone.
res.
There's your Seer.
Yeah,
And I don't feel like the as much as he is OP, kind of, well, not OP, but currently popular. I think the ultimate needs a little bit of buff. This might be a big thing.
ooh,
I think the range is too short. Maybe I'm just, to be honest, I'm probably not the greatest Seer player. I've been getting to him, but um, I think I feel like when you throw the ultimate down, it's just, I don't know. Maybe they just run away. It's pretty visible. It's a big dome. Actually, I'll probably get off that. Maybe I'm just not throwing good Seer ults
Sear.
because
I use Sears all more for third party
uh
and if for third parties, like if I'm running up on streamer building, right? This team's fighting for that, and then when I get pushed. So, but I kind of get what you're saying. I kind of get what you're saying to an extent. You can't chase a stationary team with you can't chase a stationary team with a seer alt. Like they're just gonna move. They're just gonna, they're just gonna run. And then
Oh,
on
okay.
top of that, the other team is probably has a seer as well. So they're just gonna throw one back at you. So it doesn't even really do anything.
Yep, that's the thing. I got one question for you. What legend do you think is gonna be the next? Like, out of the current legends, we'll go outside the meta. We'll avoid Bloodhound and like which legend do you think is gonna have be the next impactful one in like ranked or pubs, like kind of in the ranked format? Which one's gonna be like a necessity outside the current free? You think
Um,
has potential?
I think Newcastle has already
Yep.
moved to that space. So I can't say him. Um,
Actually, you can go Newcastle. It's outside.
then
I was thinking the
it's
same
it's
thing.
him. It's him. They made him really strong, and I'm a Lifeline main. I hate that guy. Um,
Still the role.
but yeah, it's definitely Newcastle. He's really really strong. What I and we can talk about this, and then I think it's the next question, or actually, it's actually the current question. Um, I do not like the ranked meta this season at all. I do not like. As a matter of fact, I despise the changes they made to rank this season, and I'm not a
Mhm.
complainer. It's so night and day from what they did last season. I like for me, if me and you hop in a plat lobby, it should not be a kill race. That's what pubs is.
Mhm.
So for what ranked is supposed to be, where you're trying to actually win, and they decentralized the placement. They made some dramatic changes last week or last season, but I think that for on the higher level, Newcastle is really good. You get your position earlier. You got that damn wall. Um, his res ability is extremely strong. Uh, Also, it's all just almost a type of movement. You can throw that thing pretty far. Even his shield when you're taking damage, he's crazy strong right now. So if he's not, I know he's not picked a lot in pubs, but pubs versus ranked pick rate is so different. Like Octane, I think Octane is number one right now in pubs. I
Mhm.
believe I saw that earlier this week. It's so different. So I'll put Newcastle in there.
I think the big thing with Newcastle is, well, he can move, but he's more of a stationary type, and this was big complaint. I just kind of you place your shield down, you're basically gonna be stationary. You're not move. If you move out, it's basically a useless alt. There's a lot of questions about that. But I think it's good for like a final circle if you got advantage or like maybe fending. But that's where kind of the big complaint is. I think the passive and tactical is pretty good. I think the big thing is how can you use the ultimate to
Yeah,
actually be more useful than just the cover. Which again, that's how you design it. I'm not going to complain about that, but that's probably a reason is you look at Horizon, you can use it's used for movement. You could see or you can take advantage of that by using the scans. And Valkyrie, that's another movement. The big point is movement. Everybody likes movement, and
that's true. Movement is
the
king.
Newcastle is not alt is not a movement one. That's going to be the same thing for a lot of people too. Probably don't have any in mind at the moment. Trying to think. No, I don't
I
have
mean, you
any.
might be able to put Mad Maggie in there.
Oh, yeah, I think that could be a potential one, but
She takes some skill to play though. She's not a turn your brain off legend. You know what I mean? Her alt is technically movement, but it's kind of movement in a straight line. You know what I mean? But
hmm
you can use it to push in the fight specifically for like in buildings, break down doors. Her drill is really annoying.
hmm
You know what I mean? Her and honestly, you could say the downfall of Gibby can probably be directly attributed to the fact that Mad Maggie's being picked more. So his bubble can be destroyed, which was the strongest tactical on the game
Yep,
or in the game.
that is pretty well represented right there. Just kind of. Maggie has potential, but we'll see how we go with that. All right, so we're kind of done with those kind of specific questions. Now this one's going to be kind of either or, kind of best, worst, and all that. So it's gonna be kind of a quick segment. So at the current, so we'll go for current moment. We're not gonna go for history because I honestly don't know what was really good in history or what was good in history. So, what's the best and worst gun? And I'll say my side too.
Best gun is the 301. Um, worst worst gun is the P2020.
Ah, I think the best will be for me is 301. I think the worst will be this one's probably gonna have a lot of opinions, but it's just I do not like. It's gonna be an energy weapon, so it's not gonna be P2020 because at least I can get ammo for that, and it's easy control. But I think it has to. This probably people are not gonna like me on this because I never use this weapon ever. Um, as we can go for a bow combo for this. We'll go with the devotion. Actually, we'll go
Oh,
with the L Star because that thing has a horrible sight. I just never used both of those weapons because of that recoil kick.
L Star is really bad.
Yeah.
Because you not only need a sight, you need a mid-range sight for it even be able to see what you're doing. Like somebody's right in your face, like you're just you don't know what you're doing. At least I don't. So I'm almost with you.
Yeah, it's just like I can't use that gun. Like I always try to replace it out. I'll stick it out if in case I can't find anything and I have to get in a gunfight real quick. But so best and worst map. We're gonna go for two different categories here. We'll go for best and worst map for pubs.
The worst map, period. Either one is Storm Point, and it's not even close. Um, the best map for pubs is to me World's Edge.
Interesting.
I think it's World's Edge.
I think for me it's probably gonna be for pubs. I actually do. So Storm Point's not gonna be the worst for me. I kind of like it a
Uh-huh.
little bit. I I'm gonna go with something opposite. I think it's I don't have a lot of experience in this map because I think season 12 they didn't have it. Let me try to think.
Olympus.
Um, so Olympus actually will be the no. I'm trying to. So worst map will actually be World's Edge.
Oh,
I I don't know. I just as much as Storm Point could be some hate, this is like a close one. I think World's Edge is just it's just too much love. I don't know. It's just I don't like the feel of the map. It's I don't I it's some I can't have anything specific in my mind. People are gonna probably gonna have some comments about me, but I don't have a lot of experience in the map, and it isn't fun when people just will lay it. The matches will end quick whenever he wants to land um, fragment east or west. Like yesterday, I think I played a couple games of World's Edge, and or I think 2 days ago, there's no like this first circle's closing or second circle's about to start. Three squads left. Guess where everybody landed? Fragment east and west. And it's like, come on. I'd rather play Storm Point, although it's gonna be hard to find people. At least there's a lot of squads left. A majority of the time, I'm probably gonna say it that. But it's like a close one. I think the best one, I'll go with Olympus. I think because there's a lot of landing spots and none of them are really super overpowered unless you want to go estates half the time or Hammond Labs. But there's a lot of there's a, you can play off it. But for ranked, for me, uh, Kings Canyon isn't that great, so that's gonna be my worst. And
oh.
best will be, trying to Storm Point. So it's a little bit different.
So my my worst. So I'm gonna take that back. The worst map for ranked is Kings Canyon. It's too small.
Mm,
That's too small. Even though they removed the jump towers to make it a little bit harder to get from place to place, Like you have to be so selective on the fights that you choose, or you just have to like kill them so quickly. You know what I mean? Like it's too small. Best map I think is World. I think that World's Edge is the perfect ranked map.
And they played ranked and they played a lot of ALGS on it for I think a couple years, so it makes
Yeah.
sense on that part. Um, we'll go with okay, we'll go with this one. Best slash worst legend. I said ever based on history, but we'll go with at the current moment.
The worst legend is Wraith, and it's not her fault. The the reason that Wraith is terrible is because of the people that play her.
Mm,
There is a specific Octane has this too. There's way too many people that live up to the stigma, the stereotype of that legend. But no, all seriousness, the best legend is it's still Valk.
yeah.
It's still Valk. And the worst legend is Rampart.
I will go with the best. Actually, I think this one might be underrated. I think it's Caustic because as I don't play him that much, I usually kind of switch around. But I think just you can always use escape. You can place you know, your toxic gases, and you can just place it down. It's another way to escape enemies easily. It's OP. It slows them down. Ultimate, you get in a small room, they're basically dead. Though he's a really slow person. I feel like he's pretty good. I think he's pretty OP. I don't know if they want to put a nerf to him. I think the reason they people don't play it that much is you can shoot those barrels. But
Now, yeah.
and I think the worst ah trying so well Rampart I realize Rampart is pretty bad. I bought her because I thought okay maybe I can use her, you got the LMG, but just I think the thing that kills her is her cover is useful. But the ultimate is not because it's a roundup time, so it takes a couple seconds. Like you want to aim down sights, hold RT or whatever it is for trigger, and it will. It just takes forever to load. Like, and
It's like
you
having a
can't
Havoc with no
move. You can't run
turbocharger.
gun. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like having a Havoc without turbocharger.
yeah. That's Mirage. I haven't bought them yet, but probably is gonna be another useless one, and we'll go with that. Um, and then I want you're probably going to be the only one to answer this because you have a lot more experience. Is one landing spot you want to return that's out at the moment, like one like POI location that was in the past that got removed that you want to return on whatever map,
Skull Town or
and that
Thunderdome, because Relic is not that.
oh yep.
Relic is not that. Relic. I mean, you can. People only. I think people were like really excited from the trailers, and then here we are 2-3 weeks later. Nobody goes there. It's trash. Um, I don't personally like landing Skull Town because I don't understand what is fun about landing with 30 teams and running with a P2020, especially like OG Skull Town, like where you didn't even spawn with shields and stuff.
Hmm.
I don't understand what's exciting about that, but I do like the third party that area. So I would say Skull Town.
Uh, I probably don't have an answer on this one because I don't have have much history. And then the last question is one legend that needs a buff and nerf at the current time of day.
Um,
And we'll go off this. What do you think they need to buff up? I say buff, buff and nerf about the legends you choose.
Pathfinder definitely needs a buff, and I don't even play him. There's two legends in the game that have indirectly been nerfed to the ground: Lifeline and Pathfinder. Pathfinder hasn't been touched in forever, and he has a, a terrible hitbox.
Mm.
He's probably the easiest legend to hit. and then everyone has his passive, so he doesn't even really have one. You used to be able to jump up and down on a zip line. You can't do that anymore. Like everything that was good about him, they made useless. So any type of buff for Pathfinder is needed.
And
And then a nerf for somebody. Is that what I'm supposed to say?
yeah, Nerf.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
Um, I would say Vantage's sniper needs a longer cooldown.
Yeah, it's a bullet thing I remember. So it's like you gain a bullet every like think I don't know what the time period is.
60 seconds.
Yeah, I think another thing they probably need to do with Advantage is probably have like a sniper's glare. I don't know if they have that. It's just a laser. I think that will probably be a lot more exposing because the sniper it's a the laser is like an orange color, but it's like super. It's kind of still hard to see to people. I think that's probably how you would nerf it. But for me, a buff as much as I'm trying to think. See, this is like super difficult. Just trying to think of all the legends and all that. Um, I think I gotta go with. Man, this is I don't know why I'm so much difficulty. I'm probably gonna go with the same thing. Pathfinder. I think the big thing they need to do is like the grapple he has that needs to be increased distance because that's like a 10-foot grapple, and that's all you can use. Like I should be able to like the hand grapple we got. I should be able to use it 50 feet, not like
Yeah,
2 inches. Like that's something I real. I don't know how you can nerf the ultimate. Sorry, buff the ultimate. Because of the zip line, unless you can make it so it can go on a curve. Like you can either so like say you started and then you use your right thumbstick or your left thumbstick to kind of shoot like make the zip line curve. I don't think that ever exists. I don't think
that's interesting.
just
No,
so it's
that's
more
definitely interesting.
flexibility. And with his passive, I think you can possibly let's make something creative. All the jump towers and so anything with a all the zip lines on the map are highlighted on the map. So and the jump towers, anything that's other pathfinder and zip lines, I think that's where you can have some more usefulness. So you can at least have some other ways of navigation. So like they're really high, like they're kind of high, really highlighted on the map.
Yeah. He
Uh,
needs he needs something, bro. Like he's been untouched for like Seer, Vantage, Bloodhound, Valk, Pathfinder. There's there's like 6 people that crypto that can scan beacons. You know what I mean? Like even if you do get the lower cooldown on your zip line, no, it shouldn't be that many people that have the same thing, and I'm just left untouched. Kind of like how they did Lifeline. Newcastle keeps getting stronger and indirectly gets abilities that make her useless.
the nerf will probably be. Oh, this is difficult. I will go with Seer with how it stops their ability. Like how it's like they like you scan it, you hit it, and
Yeah,
then well, I think it makes sense because it's like a microbot, and maybe it has to have makes sense for kind of lore standpoint, but it's kind of OP and all that. Maybe a decreased range with the tactical scanner. So I think it goes 75 feet. Maybe you can decrease it to 50 or maybe 60. See how that goes.
yeah,
Um, but I think a big. So we go for 2 nerfs for that, but the buff is just increased ultimate bubble range. That's where I'll go for that point. I think that's gonna. It's odd. It's supposed to be nerf. You said nerf and a buff, but the nerfs are probably gonna be bigger hits than the buffs.
yeah. I think that I like that one because it is pretty frustrating to get frustrating to get your res stopped. The heal I don't mind too much. The only reason that would suck is if you were like doing a Phoenix kit. Like if it's a sale, no big deal.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Just hold a door and whatever. But I like that. I think that people like players complain too much. Like this person needs a buff. No, no, they don't. Just because you're one of 7 people that plays them doesn't mean that there's. It's very obvious they have like 6 or 7 legends that are really good, and the rest are mid. It's like that for a reason. What they need to stop doing is coming out with a legend every season. That's what they need to. That's what they need to do. There doesn't need to be a new legend every season. It makes it hard. It's just going to make it harder and harder and harder to balance. Every 3 months. Plus the stuff that they have to manage that's been an infinite problem, like audio. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like you can't. If we win a couple seasons without a legend and we got better audio, I think that's a fair trade off. Just for example.
Audio. Let's see how that goes. Audio issues have been a problem with every game, so
Yeah.
but hopefully that will be fixed. All right, so that was it. That was kind of talking about Apex Legends, kind of the rise to fame here and all that, which has worked perfectly. We talked about a lot of the balance and problems, just kind of in-game stuff, out-of-game stuff, kind of and all that, just kind of what you need to balance, what you need to nerf buff, kind of both communities on the side, and yeah. Do you want to give any shouts to anyone before we end it off?
Um, can I shout out myself?
Yeah, you can. I'm not stopping you.
Yeah, man. IReek of Awesome TV on TikTok, YouTube, Ireek of Awesome _ on Twitter, man. But it was a pleasure. I have fun doing this. It's been a busy day, but I'm glad I got to do this.
You're welcome. It's always fun to kind of have new people on the podcast as we always do with every episode. So, nice hour long episode, unlike the last one, which was this is the first time using Skype. So in a while, I was using Zoom in the past, but I realized it was it was a 40-minute time limit, so that sucked the last episode. But we got a nice hour 12 and hopefully the video will translate pretty well over to YouTube. And I'll link all of the Eureka Awesome socials on the description of the video. So yeah, that's going to be it. I'll see you guys on the next episode. I don't know what the next episode's topic is going to be, but I do have 2 ideas on it. So yeah, bye.
Did you stop recording?